Hello, this is your attorney, Jiwon Lee. Do you remember DJ Yesong who, while drunk, drove her Mercedes and killed a motorcyclist in the middle of Gangnam, Seoul? She was sentenced to 10 years in prison. On February 3, Ahn Yesong, driving under the influence, hit a motorcycle ahead of her. The victim, a delivery man in his 50s, was taken to the hospital in cardiac arrest but ultimately passed away. Ahn Yesong was immediately detained, and on July 9th, she was sentenced to 10 years in prison with her Mercedes and car keys confiscated. Even more shocking was that Ahn Yesong had caused another traffic accident while drunk and fled the scene before causing the fatal accident. She was arrested on the day of the accident, and the court issued an arrest warrant citing concerns about her flight risk. The Korean court is generally lenient towards drunk driving fatalities. Drunk driving can lead up to 5 years in prison, and if a person dies due to a drunk driving accident, the sentence ranges from 3 years to life imprisonment. However, in reality, 90% of drunk driving fatalities or injury cases result in probation or fines, which draws significant criticism from the public. So why did Ahn Yesong receive the 10-year sentence? The clue lies in the details of the verdict. First, Ahn had already caused an accident while drunk before the fatal one. The victim of the first accident reported that Ahn Yesong got out of the car and said, "Do I look very drunk? Please let me off just this once." After that, she did not try to manage the accident, did not report it to the police, and left the scene without any explanation indicating an intention to flee. While fleeing, she hit and killed a motorcyclist, which is a particularly heinous incident. Ahn Yesong paid a settlement to the victim's family, and they expressed that they did not wish for her punishment. Normally, the court would reduce the sentence significantly due to the settlement. However, in this case, despite the settlement, the court ruled that the victim, being deceased, could not express his will and thus sentenced her to 10 years, which is unusual. In May, Kim Ho-joong, while drunk, crashed into an oncoming taxi in Gangnam, Seoul, and fled. The taxi driver was diagnosed with injuries that would take 2 weeks to heal. After fleeing, Kim urged his agency manager to falsely confess to the accident, and the manager went to the police and falsely admitted to driving. Kim appeared at a police station 17 hours later. The police, however, identified the car owner and pressed Kim, who eventually admitted to driving. Initially, he denied drunk driving but changed his stance and apologized 10 days later. The agency's representative, general manager, and the manager were all detained for attempting to cover up the crime, but Kim was not charged with drunk driving in the end. And why is that? Typically, if someone is caught drunk driving, their blood alcohol level is measured. However, there are criminals like Kim who evade the measurement by fleeing. In such cases, the police must use the windmark formula, a scientific calculation method, to determine the precise blood alcohol level. Given that Kim fled and appeared much later, it was challenging to specify his blood alcohol content, making it difficult to prosecute him for drunk driving. Thus, Kim's escape strategy succeeded. Nonetheless, it's unlikely that Kim will avoid a prison sentence. His intention to avoid punishment for drunk driving is evident, and since all related parties were detained for evidence tampering, Kim's crime is more severe than Ahn Yesong's. However, since the accident victim's injuries were minor and a settlement was reached, the likelihood of a suspended sentence is high. Kim Ho-joong is not the first to lie or flee to avoid punishment for drunk driving. Squid Game, that's Squid Game. Actor Lee Jung-jae and Hallyu star Kwon Sang-woo also have histories of drunk driving accidents and attempting to evade punishment by lying. In September 1999, Lee Jung-jae, while heavily intoxicated, caused a minor accident while driving a car in Gangnam, Seoul. His blood alcohol level was 0.222%, far exceeding the license revocation standard. Right after the accident, he claimed that his manager was driving, not him. However, he admitted to driving when the police investigation began and received a license revocation. Kwon Sang-woo even engaged in a movie-like escape. In June 2010, early in the morning in Gangnam, Seoul, Kwon drove his car across the center line for an illegal left turn, causing a pursuit. In his panic, Kwon fled into a nearby apartment complex, causing a minor accident with a parked car and a secondary collision with the pursuing police car. He then left his vehicle and ran away. Kwon avoided police contact and went into hiding. During this time, his manager falsely confessed to driving. The manager eventually admitted that it was Kwon's car under persistent police questioning. However, the authorities could not prove Kwon's intoxication and he only received a fine of 5 million won. Ultimately, Kim Ho-joong's tactics mirrored those of Lee Jung-jae and Kwon Sang-woo. This is your attorney, Jiwon Lee. Don't drunk drive.